Well, hello folks, I'm LA Little, and this is your daily NeoTA wrap, where we take a look at these markets. We do it from a neoclassical perspective, each time asking ourselves what happened today, what does it tell us about the coming ones. Do this show 4 times a week, every Monday through Thursday. It's broadcast at or before 10 o'clock Eastern Time, archived on YouTube. It's under the channel LA Little. As far as what happened today, it really was a sideways day for the most part. If you look down the list here, you can see that pretty much sideways day. You had a little bit of gain over in the German DAX. You had actually had a decent gain. I don't have it up here oh, there it is. The SSEC, which was the Chinese market, had a 3% rise, got over a swing point high, had some volume expansion too. So that one actually looks like it can run a little bit farther. Probably takes the Hong Kong market with it. Domestically, sideways day, up slightly, but you actually have more deterioration even with the up day. Oil drops 5%, right? And so that oil trade everybody crowded into last week, it got demolished today, and along with it, gold was up, but the gold stocks got hammered today. So you had a mixed day pretty much across the board. Russell was the only one close in the red. If we move to the indexes themselves, take a look at them. We'll start with the S&P 500. Remember, Friday we actually had the over-under 2-bar reversal. We talked about that last night. That says you're going to get sideways to down the next bar, most likely, when it's a 2-bar. And that's what you have, and you've got another one set up here again tonight. You actually got the NASDAQ joining it on a 2-bar. So the high the day before was 48.41. That was Friday's high. And today you go over it, close at 48.38. So you go over, back under, less volume. Actually, I wouldn't call this one a 2-bar. You had enough sideways move here. This is probably more of just a over-under. And NDX didn't actually give that to you. And then if we look at the Russell itself, so the NDX gets over, stays over, and if we look at the Russell itself, the Russell wasn't a 2-bar. It didn't even get over it. It traded under the prior day, 1162, closes back over. It has less volume. So if you look at all these indexes and take them as a whole, they are very much mixed. You got a couple saying some more downside pressure. You got a couple saying, hey, it can still test higher. Tomorrow you got the beginning of earnings. You've got Intel tomorrow afternoon. In the morning you've got a couple of the big banks. There's a scattering of other reports both tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday. So all of it comes down to the earnings at this point and what they do or don't want to do. Sector-wise, not much to talk about. Overseas markets, really nothing to talk about there either. I'm going to go to the OX markets next. If I look at the currencies to start with, I'm going to look at the dollar to begin with. Now, the tell today that was interesting was the commodities got wiped out, but the dollar really didn't gain. As a matter of fact, it went under with a little bit more volume, came back over. So I'm not sure if they're seeing something we don't see or if they're taking this as a reversal. Whatever the case, we have a dollar that was basically weaker and commodities worked lower. So it's kind of an odd combination. You can see it here in the oil market. Comes down pretty hard. Gold was actually up on the day, but testing the top, but you had an ugly reversal in the gold stocks after a big run up. You took off from 13.19 all the way up to 16.61. So basically you had a 15, 20, 25% run in just a few days. Today you got an ugly reversal. I suspect it's going to test back underneath, or at least down to the bottom of the swing point high, which is 1524. And then we'll see here in this green zone that you see, we'll see if it has some support or not. That's going to be the test there. If we look at a couple of questions from members, you got some good questions here, so let's take a look at some of those stocks. Okay, and so here we go. So what I would be looking at here is first of all, you broke over these swing point highs and you had some volume expansion. What you don't want to see tonight is you don't want to see volume, or you don't want to see a takeaway bar. You don't want to see it come right back. So assuming this thing can, gyrate a little bit higher, right? Then what you're trying to do is get back up to do the retest regens. And those are up here. Now that's on the daily. That price point there is 35.40. If we bring over the weekly, it's going to be off this bar, and that bar is 33.85, and you're sitting at 32.87, and you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's going to give it resistance on the way back. So I think this could be stymied much quicker than you probably expect, and that could be as quick as tomorrow. Now the question really was a long-term question, is what do you think this thing's going to do long-term? And I don't think you can answer that question yet until you see what it does with this bar. So here's your bearish retest regenerate, right? And it's a huge bar. I mean, it spans a lot of points. And so what you have to do is you have to kind of divide it up and say, okay, where would it tell me something's good? Well, it would tell me something good if it can get over this big breakdown bar. And so if I just look at that price, it's 35.07. Get over 35.07 and stay over it. If you can do that, then you're telling me that, yeah, you can get to at least the top of the bearish retest regen, and I can play that. And so, at this particular point, you've got two things to work with. You got the breakout that if you don't get the takeaway bar tonight, you can start to play it. Then you can watch to see, can it get over this bar and stay over it? And if so, you can get to the next level, which is the top of the July 6th weekly bar. And then, at that point, you've really got something going. So I would play that in stages rather than trying to just say, okay, it's going to go up, and I want to be on the ride. So ASHR is the more pure Chinese play. The FXI is more of the Hong Kong listed shares on the Shanghai listed shares as they trade in Hong Kong. And this one actually is a little bit stronger. This one's coming back in to do the bearish retest regen. That's at 39.67. And if we pull this over, you come into that big bar as well. So when you're trading the FXI, you're really watching Hong Kong and Shanghai, and you're trading off of both of them. And right now, this looks like it's about to run into resistance, which I think you're going to see in Shanghai as well. So I think you want to try to buy pullbacks, not the breakouts. And I think that's true in most of the market still, and also very true in this one. Okay, so as far as tomorrow, we got earnings. We got earnings in the morning. That's going to tell the tape to start with. You've ran up into earnings across the board, right? So you had the big push up, 2 weeks of push now. And then today you essentially went sideways, another little doji. No volume. Nobody wants to do anything. They're waiting. They want to know what to do. If they spike this thing up, it's probably a sell. If they sell it off, at some point it becomes a buy. Right now, I would be very careful with what I'm doing. Hopefully you're hedged off pretty well, because I think you could see this thing try to tail back off fairly quickly here and get one of those nice little spikes to the downside. That's it for tonight. Thanks for joining me. You tell a friend, tell two. I'm LA. This is and was your daily NeoTA wrap. Have yourself a great night, and I'll catch you tomorrow, and we'll see how these earnings start to play out. Good night, folks.